The Hobbit book was incredibly important. I actually had a very poor reading age. I was struggling with my reading in my earlier years, and it wasn't really till probably just after 10 that I started reading and I got to read The Hobbit. And The Hobbit was the first book that gave me a portal into fantasy worlds. It gave me a realization that literature could take you to totally unique and special places. And I've held that dear to my heart through all of my life. Therefore, getting to make this world or be part of the creation of this, getting to be part of the development of those 13 dwarves that I read about all those years ago, who I so desperately wanted to go on a journey with, has been beyond description, actually. Well, I call the workshop an artisan studio. We're not really a filmmaking company as such. We're a service provider to the world's film industry, but we get to make cool stuff across multiple disciplines. We have 26 full-time designers designing on multiple films at any one time. But then we also do armor, weapons, creatures, miniatures, prosthetics, props, and costumes. And that is due to the fact that New Zealand has a population that are Jack and Jill of all trades. That means that they can tackle really any discipline. We've got very few specialists, but rather people that are willing to give anything a go and work across any field. So the same people that may be making prosthetics on one job may turn their hand to weapons or armor on the next job. And that means that for a relatively small number of people, we can achieve an awful lot of things in our production schedule. The Lord of the Rings stretched for 7.5 years for us, and that time was a blessing because it meant that we could hone our work. We had something to prove, of course. It was our first big film on the world stage. But coming back to Middle-earth, we wanted to never appear to rest on our laurels, to just copy what we'd done last time. Sure, we're in the same world, we're of the same ecology and of the same place, but we're in a totally different time and a different story, meeting totally new races and people and characters, and therefore it was critical to all of us here in the workshop, as I'm sure it was in everyone that worked on the film, that we generated a new and higher level of wonderment in the journey that the dwarfs and the Hobbit goes on. And that required new technologies, new ideas, new creativity that would lift our game and hopefully put something special out there for people to see. Well, Peter's extremely passionate about everything he does, of course. He wouldn't be the filmmaker that he is if he wasn't, and he always has been. Peter wanted to be an effects guy at the very beginning of his career. He had thoughts that maybe that's what he would do. So he used to make his own puppets and creatures and props and models and then get to film them, which ultimately led him into directing. And so he loves coming to the workshop and seeing what we're doing and being part of it. And the challenges around large-scale filmmaking means that he can't be as hands-on as he used to be, where he'd physically come into the workshop and make things alongside us. And I think he greatly regrets that, as I'm sure many directors do as their careers blossom into these huge projects that require such in-depth management. But we get to hang out with him enough to make it all really great fun. So. We've been very fortunate that Peter and Fran cast extraordinary actors. Now, that's both at an acting capability, but for us, ultimately, in our work here in the workshop, their acting ability is less critical to us than their character, than their tolerance, their willingness to to go into something swathed in prosthetics and hair and costume that's been created by the various departments on the film. Because if you don't have that tolerance, if you don't have that strong character, it's going to wear you down and it's going to become unpleasant for everyone involved. But that's not the case. Thankfully for us and all the different people working on the film, this cast of characters have been amazingly embracing of everything that we've done. The coolest thing, of course, for us is that 5 of those members of the cast are New Zealanders. And the thought that some of the actors that we've worked with now for, in some cases nearly 25 years, have now secured a beautiful lead role in this most amazing film. And that's something to celebrate here in New Zealand. It's the collaboration with my friends here in the workshop. I take great joy out of, you get to help build an object like that, but it's actually the person that you're building it with that's so special. And the fact that after this many years we can still hang out together, come to work every morning, never have ill words, just get on and get the job done, but also have a great deal of fun celebrating in the fact that we still get to make things with our hands, that we still are able to use craft in the creation of our work. And that's a very special job to have.